Alright, y'all, the 2026 Grammys are coming up, so let me give you guys my final predictions. Y'all ready? Let's go.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bright here, the R&B kid, and I'm back again with another episode of On the Bright Side TV. Welcome back. How y'all doing? Hope y'all been good. Happy New Year, which is crazy to say. I can't believe we're already in 2026. Man, 2025 was a rough year for a lot of people, myself included. Life has been lifing. As y'all can see, I've not been as consistent with posting videos as I've liked to been, but I'm really looking forward to 2026. I'm hoping this will be a fresh year for me, a fresh new start. I really want to hunker down and really work on all the goals that I have for myself. I hope you guys will have a wonderful, prosperous, and beautiful 2026 as well. Really looking forward to this year and all that will come with it. And I'm excited to see what happens this year in terms of the culture and music. And first things first, I wanted to get you guys my predictions for the Grammys this year. So let's get into them. The Grammys are going to be on February 1st, 2026. And this video is a follow-up to my last video where I talked about and I reacted to the Grammy nominations when they dropped back in November. I really liked the Grammy nominations this year for the most part. There wasn't too much that was said about. There were definitely some clear snubs and some things that were weird like they are every year. But for the most part, I feel like this was a very fair and pretty decent year for the nominations. So now I want to talk about who I think will win. I think this will be a year where we'll see a lot of predictable winners. But I also think this is a year where we can see some really interesting upsets in a lot of categories. So I think I have a good pulse on what I think will happen for the most part. But obviously there'll probably be some things that I'll get wrong or that'll be weird as hell. And you know, like it happens all the time. It's the Grammys. You never know what to expect. But that's what makes things exciting. So I'm excited to see how things play out. I'm excited to see what I got wrong, what I got right when the Grammys happen in a few weeks. But for now, let me give you guys my final predictions. And as always, I want you guys to, comment down below what do you think about, who you think will win this year, who you're rooting for, who do you think is in the running for all the categories you care about. What do you think about my predictions? I'm excited for all of that. So yeah, definitely comment down below so I can hear your thoughts. Just a quick reminder as well, please go support and subscribe to my Patreon, link down below in the description. If you like my vibes, it's more where this came from. On my Patreon, I have, more like uncut, unedited reaction videos and other exclusive content that I won't have on my YouTube. They'll be on my Patreon, so definitely go check out that Patreon and support me. I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all, as a reminder, for each category, I'm going to go through who I think will win the category this year, who I think should win it, and who I think will be the potential spoiler in the category as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here are my final predictions for my winners of all the categories that I care about for the 2026 Grammys. All right, y'all, first up we have Record of the Year. So for Record of the Year, I think in general, the general category is gonna be very interesting this year. I think there's a lot of different ways they can play out, but here's where I'm leaning towards. So for Record of the Year, I think who will win is Kendrick Lamar and SZA with Luther, but who I think should win is Lady Gaga with Abracadabra. Luther to me makes the most sense as this year's winner. I had, what gave me a little pause on predicting Kendrick again was the fact that he just won last year with Not Like Us. And I don't think we've ever had a rapper win back-to-back, general field wins. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of the Grammys. But now it's time for that history to be made. And I do think it makes the most sense. Luther is like the most consensus record in this category. It's the most loved, I think across the board by many different demographics. It went number one for like 13 weeks, so I feel like it really does make the most sense as our winner here. But of course, they can just anything can happen. And I do think Abracadabra would be my chosen winner. I love that song. I just think the production is crazy. It's just a really well arranged and it's just a really dope record that I personally would give the win to over Luther, even though I love Luther. And my spoiler for this category is Debí tirar más fotos. I really feel like this could also be another year where we see some history being made with a non-English song winning record or song of the year. And I think Bad Bunny obviously has a high chance to do that with Debí tirar más fotos. So it's a great record. I do think that the language barrier could be an issue. But if it were to be a spoiler, for me, it feels like this song is the one. Next up, we have Song of the Year, who I think will win Song of the Year. And that's K-pop Demon Hunters, or I guess Huntrix with Golden. But who I think should win this category is Bad Bunny with Debí tirar más fotos. To me, Golden makes sense as the winner. I wouldn't have thought about this being the winner a few weeks or even a few months ago. But when I sat and thought about it, especially when it came down to like the time people were voting, which is like around like December, early January, Golden is like the song of the moment right now. It's still like top of the charts. it feels like it has more of a recency bias that's in its favor compared to maybe a lot of other songs that people would have predicted, like Man Child or Abracadabra or Apata or Luther. This one is more present and it's having a moment right now. So it really feels like, especially with the beautiful message and it's like empowering, it's been number one for like 8 weeks. It feels like it makes sense when you think about it. But if I were to pick my winner, I personally would pick Bad Bunny's Debí Tirar Más Fotos. It's a beautiful record. I love what that song is talking about, even though there is that language barrier with it being in Spanish. Once you translate it, you understand what he's talking about. That song is just so beautiful. I love the way it's written. I love the way it's arranged. I love the message of it. It just really a feel-good song that really feels like a generational record. So I will personally give it that one. I love that record. I love what it's talking about. But if there were to be a spoiler, I definitely see it being Luther by Kendrick Lamar. Again, it's my predicted winner for record of the year. It could easily take Song of the Year as well, just like Kendrick last year when he swept record and Song of the Year with Not Like Us. I don't think he'll go 2 for 2 again this year with Luther, but he easily could if he's on a high with the wins across the board this year for him. So it could happen. We'll see. But I'm not predicting him, but I definitely think he's someone that could spoil for this category. Let's see what happens. Next up is Album of the Year, always the biggest category every year. So I'm really interested to see how things will play out. Who I think will and should win the Album of the Year this year. My pick is GNX by Kendrick Lamar. When I think about it, we've not had a rap album win Album of the Year in probably since 2004 when Outkast won with Speakerboxxx The Love Below. It's been almost 20 years since a rap album won Album of the Year. And also beyond that, Kendrick Lamar has ever won Album of the Year. I think this is his 5th or 6th nomination, and he's never won it. So it feels like this really is Kendrick's time. GNX, I think, has been his most popular and beloved album across the board by so many different demographics. It feels like this is the album of his that should be rewarded with Album of the Year out of all of his albums. It hit a really beautiful mix of... I feel like GNX hit a perfect mix of being commercially successful and also being critically adored. And it really hit peak in both of those regards for him on this one album. So I feel like this is the album to finally just give him Album of the Year. So to me, it makes the most sense. But anything can happen. And I do think on paper, the other album that makes the most sense to me to be the winner, and it's my spoiler, is Debí Tirar Más Fotos by Bad Bunny. Of course, I think Lady Gaga has a shot as well, but I really think this is a battle between Kendrick and Bad Bunny. If Kendrick were to lose, I see him losing to Bad Bunny, who, even though there is that language barrier for for all the people who don't speak Spanish, besides that, Debí Tirar Más Fotos has been one of the most successful albums of this Grammy period. It's a generational album of this time period, and Bad Bunny's one of the most successful artists of our time, and he's headlining the Super Bowl in a few weeks, so I feel like it will make the most sense for him to win something in the general field. And if it's not going to be Record or Song of the Year, I see it being Album of the Year. But to me, it makes sense that Kendrick would be the winner, but if Kendrick loses, I think it will be Bad Bunny. So let's see what happens. Next up, we have Best New Artist. So I think this will be a pretty easy category this year. My predicted winner for this category and who I think should win, and that's Olivia Dean. Miss Olivia Dean, I think I can say for all of us that we love and adore you. Your music is sublime. Your music is phenomenal. You're amazing. You're just a vibe. And your time is right now. I really feel like Olivia Dean hit a perfect stride in this fall season where all of her songs started peaking at the right time, where I feel like it makes sense that she mustered up the most votes during the voting period to win Best New Artist, and she deserves it too because she really, out of this crop of artists, I think she's the one that has the most potential to really be a defining artist of this generation, and her music is sublime, and I'm looking forward to her future. I just think the future is like, the sky's the limit for her, and I think she's amazing. But if she were to lose for any reason, I see her losing to Leon Thomas. Leon Thomas is definitely my spoiler for this category. I had him leading the race pretty much this whole time before Olivia Dean kind of came into the picture and really started, shaking things up. So I do think Olivia will walk away with this easily. But if she were to lose, I see her losing to Leon Thomas, who I think also had a brilliant year in 2025 with his Mutt album and song. And he also will be a deserving winner as well. But I definitely think this will go to Olivia. So, all right, now we're on to Producer of the Year. I don't think I have the best pulse on what will happen with this category, but these are my predictions. Who I think will and should win, actually, is Circuit. I think Circuit, to me, out of this lineup, has the best group of songs that I personally have listened to and really appreciate. So I think he will win it, and I think he also should win it. I think he has, he has Abracadabra here, AE Oh My God by Coco Jones, Apata by Roseanne Bruno Mars, Disease by Lady Gaga, the Lady Gaga album, some tracks by Jade and The Weeknd, and some other people. So I really think he makes the most sense here, and I'll give him the win. Even though I really do love Soundwave and the fact that, you know, he contributed so much to the GNX album, but the reason why I wouldn't give the edge to Soundwave is because he had a lot of other co-producers on that album. So I wouldn't give him the edge in that sense. Even though I'm rooting for Soundwave, but you know, he's one of our best producers in the hip hop space. So shout out to him for being nominated, deserved nomination. But I do think Circuit has the edge here. But if there were to be a spoiler, I would love for it to be Soundwave, but I actually do think the spoiler would be Blake Mills. I think this is Blake Mills' like third or fourth nomination, and he's not won it yet. So I feel like just he kind of has that overdue factor going for him. Although I don't think he will win it this year. I think he'll lose again. If he does, if Circuit does lose, I see him losing to Blake Mills for the overdue factor. And because he had a lot of good albums this year that he's nominated for that did well. So I think he could sneak in as well. Next up, we have Songwriter of the Year. I think this will be a very predictable category. Even though she just won last year, I do think my predicted winner for this category and who I think should win this category is Amy Allen again. Shout out to Amy Allen. She's just really in a peak period of her career right now where she's like the go-to songwriter for, like, you know, Sabrina Carpenter and just a lot of other people in the pop space. She's really just one of our best songwriters. And I do think she's going to win this category again, back to back. I would love that for her. She was the first female winner, and I think she'll win again this year. But if she were to lose to anybody, I see her losing to Tobias Jesso Jr., who I believe was actually the first winner of this category. So I think this is actually going to be a battle of past winners vying for their second wins in this category. And it's still a very new category. And the songwriter, group is very much, much smaller compared to, like, producers and artists and stuff like that. So we're going to see a lot of the same names for years to come, but I do think Amy Allen will win it, and I think she should win it. But if they were to a spoiler, I do think Tobias makes the most sense to me. This could go many different ways. Someone else could surprise. We could see Edgar Barrera, or maybe Jesse Joe Dillon surprise, potentially Laura Veltz, but I really do think this is a battle between Amy and Tobias. I'm leaning towards Amy, with Tobias as my spoiler. Next up, we have Best Pop Solo Performance. So I think this will be a category where we'll see an interesting switch up happen. This is a category where it tends to happen a lot, so I think that'll happen this year. Who I think will win this category, and that's Justin Bieber with Daisies. Whereas I think who should win, and that's Lady Gaga with Disease. I really do think that it makes sense that Justin Bieber will win, although I think in a lot of people's minds he's probably like in last place or fourth place. I actually think he will make sense as the winner. I think he'll have a surprise win in this category. I don't think Serena would win with Manchild after she just won with Espresso, especially seeing how as Manchild wasn't as big as Espresso. And Lady Gaga's Disease, wow, that would be my chosen winner. I love that song. I think it deserves it. The vocal, the production, that song is magic to me, even though it wasn't like a huge hit for her. I do think Justin will walk away with it because I think they tend to like love splits in this category compared to songs that kind of are nominated for and win in the general field for the pop genre. So I do think they'll give Justin a win here. And I also think the big reason why I think Justin will win here is because he's actually never won a pop Grammy, even though he's a pop artist. He's only won Grammys in the country fields and in the dance electronic fields. I think this is the best time to give Justin Bieber a pop Grammy in his field for a song that actually not only did it do well and still doing well, but it's actually very beloved in his catalog. Even though it has more of like R&B flair, it doesn't sound like a lot of other stuff he's done. It's a really beloved song this year. It's still doing well, so I feel like it makes the most sense. It was popular on voting time, so why not? But if I had my way, I would give it to Lady Gaga. But my spoilers category is obviously Man-Child by Sabrina Carpenter. She just won this category last year, so I don't think the voters will be, thirsty to give it to her again. But she kind of does have the biggest song in this category, so it would make sense if she were to win it again. She's definitely my spoiler. I'm not rooting for her, not because I don't like the song, because I feel like the other songs deserve it more than Man-Child. But I definitely think Man-Child would make a lot of sense if it did win. I think Man-Child's a lot of people's predicted winner, which makes sense. But I want to do something different. I want to go with Daisies on this one and be a little brave. But let me know what y'all think about this category. You guys rooting for Sabrina Carpenter, Lady Gaga? Are you rooting for Chaperone for the Subway? I wouldn't be mad at that. Great record. Or are you like me and you think Justin might walk away with it? Let me know what y'all think down below. Next up, we got Best Pop Duo/Group Performance. I think the winner for this category will be Huntrix, K-pop Demon Hunters with Golden. But who I think should win this category is Defying Gravity by Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo from the Wicked soundtrack. Although I love Golden, I don't want it to win, but I think it will win, and that's fine. It makes the most sense. I think it'll win Song of the Year. It's definitely going to win, song written for visual media. So I think it'll just win here. I think it peaked around the right time. It's the song of the moment, so I think it makes the most sense. It's a good performance. It's kind of a consensus record. So to me, it makes the most sense as taking the win in this category. But if I had it my way, I would personally give it to Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande for the splendid performance that they showed on Defying Gravity. What a vocal, what a song, what a moment. That'll be my winner. But my spoiler for this category is definitely Apata by Rose and Bruno Mars. I think a lot of people have Apata picked for the win, which makes sense. I think, Bruno just won it last year with Lady Gaga for Doubt the Smile. It's one of the biggest songs of the year. But I don't think Apata can beat the hype that Golden is kind of having right now. But either way, we're going to have history being made with, I believe, the first Asian artist or artist winning this category either way. So I'm excited whether or not it's Apata or Golden, but I think it will be Golden. But Apata obviously is my spoiler. So next up, we have Best Pop Vocal Album, who I think will and should win this category, and that's Lady Gaga with her album Mayhem. It's my personal favorite album in this category. It's a great project. I really feel like this is Gaga's time. I don't think she's won this category since like 2010, 11 with the Fame Monster album. So I think this is a great time to just give her the win in this category again, her second win. I feel like this is Lady Gaga's time. My spoiler for this category is Sabrina Carpenter's Man's Best Friend, which I think would also make a lot of sense as taking the win as well. It's pretty much the biggest album in this category in a sense, in terms of having the biggest hits and sales and all that. And Sabrina Carpenter is also having a really big moment in her career right now. But I don't think she'll win it because she just won this category last year with Short and Sweet. And I think the consensus from even a lot of our fans is that while we love Man's Best Friend, it's not as good and it's not the moment that Short and Sweet was. So I don't feel like it'll be fair for her to win it again when Lady Gaga came back with a modern day masterpiece with the Mayhem album. That might not have reached the commercial success of an album like Man's Best Friend, but that's not what the Grammys are about. The Grammys are about quality, so I feel like why not award Gaga for another amazing artistic peak in her career with the Mayhem album. So that's my predicted winner, and that's why I think should win. But if Gaga were to lose, she's gonna lose to Sabrina Carpenter. Next up, we have Best Pop Dance Recording, who I think will and should win this category, and that's Lady Gaga again with Abracadabra. To me, it makes the most sense. Not only has it been the most successful song in the category, it's also my favorite, and I really do think it's like one of the best songs in the category. This is a really great category full of great records, but Abracadabra to me was the song in the category that really defined this year. It's a great record. That production's beautiful. Her performance on it's amazing. The writing is just brilliant. It's a really great record that I think will be one of the defining songs in Lady Gaga's career. It really was one of the defining songs of this year, even though it wasn't like a top 10 record. It still did really well. It's a great song. If there was to be a spoiler for this category, I don't see Gaga losing this category, but if she were to lose it, I could see her losing it out to Tate McRae's Just Keep Watching. And Tate McRae, I don't think she'll win this Grammy, but I think she's a spoiler for this category. She also is this person that has the other really successful song in this category. Just Keep Watching was a really big sleeper hit this year. So I could see her overtaking it in a really surprise win over Gaga, but I don't think that'll happen. But if it were to happen, she's the spoiler for this category. Next up, we got Best Dance/Electronic Recording. This is not a category that I talk about every year, but I really love how this category is this year, so I want to talk about it. Let's get into it. Who I think will win, that is Fred again, Skepta, and Plaque Max with Victory Lap. I think it's a great record, and I think it will win. But if I had it my way, I would personally give it to Kitchenada for his track Space Invader. Love Kitchenada. Space Invader is a great track. I do love Victory Lap so much, and I would be happy when it wins because that's a bop banger. But if I would give my win to Kitchenada. I would give the edge to Kitchenada. But either way, I'll be happy if either of them win. My spoiler for the category is Disclosure and Anderson .Paak with No Cap. I do think it has a shot to win because Disclosure has never won this category before. Anderson .Paak is a Grammy darling, so it could be a recipe for a win in this category. Although I do think the better records that are more deserved will be either Victory Lap or Space Invader. But I can see No Cap going, walking away with it. All right, y'all. Now on to the R&B categories. Let's get it. First up, we have Best R&B Performance, who I think will win this category, and that's Leon Thomas with Mutt, live from NPR's Tiny Desk. But who I think should win is Kehlani with her song Folded. I love Mutt, the regular version and the live version, and I do think it will win because I think it makes the most sense. He pretty much has the biggest song in this category besides Kehlani. Mutt really defined this year, and this is really the only place to really acknowledge and honor Mutt as a song. So I do think he'll walk away with this category. And we've seen in recent years a history of the Grammys giving the live versions of songs that were kind of promoted and finally nominated in the year after they were eligible, winning. Money Long. I think this happened with Made For Me, like another song a couple years ago as well. So I do think we'll continue that trend with Mutt, the live version, winning, which is fine. But if I had it my way, I would give it to Kehlani's Folded. And I also think Kehlani's Folded will be the spoiler for this category. If Leon Thomas were to lose to anybody, I only see him losing to Kehlani's Folded, who is having the R&B song of the moment right now as well, besides Leon Thomas. So I do think Folded is our spoiler here as well. So, next up, we have Best Traditional R&B Performance. This is a battle to me between SZA and Duran Bernard, who I think will win, and that's SZA with Cry Baby. But I think Duran Bernard's Here We Are should take this win. Cry Baby, to me, it makes the most sense as the winner. It's the biggest song in this category. It's the most successful song. It's probably the most known song in this category. And SZA is the most known artist, so I feel like she'll take the win. And I won't be mad at it because I love Cry Baby. It's a beautiful record. But if I had it my way, I would give this award to Duran Bernard for Here We Are. The vocal performance in that song is just amazing. The emotion, just the performance in that record is really beautiful. And I think Duran would deserve this. And I also think he's my spoiler as well. I do think this will go to SZA. But if SZA were to lose this category over a song that's probably more deserved, even though it's not as known, I do think Duran Bernard's Here We Are will be that pick. And I hope it is. But let's see how things play out. I do think this will go to SZA, but I will give it to Duran, and I think he'll be our spoiler. Let's see who wins. Next up, we're on Best R&B Song. To me, this is one of the easiest categories of this year. Kehlani, come take your Grammy now. The Grammy it already has your name on it. Come pick it up. Kehlani's Folded is my predicted winner and my chosen winner for this category, as she should be. Folded is a beautiful song. I think a lot of people love the performance of the song as well, so I think it's definitely a contender for Best R&B Performance, but I do think it is a lock in Best R&B Song. Not only is it the biggest song in the category, but to me it's also the most deserved winner. Folded is such a beautifully written and arranged record. The way they arranged the production to match the vocal and to match the melody, and the way the lyrics were beautifully constructed around everything that's happening in the song. It's just a really well written, really well arranged song that is going to be one of the defining R&B songs of this decade and of this time period. Kehlani, come take your award for Best R&B Song. And shout out to all the other songwriters, Chris Riddick Tynes and Andre Harris and DK the Punisher. Shout out to all y'all. Like, y'all created an R&B song for the generation. So, like, yes, come take y'all Grammy, y'all deserve it. If there was a spoiler for this category, I only see it being Chris Brown's It Depends, which I can see that happening in an upset. I hope it doesn't, because even though I love It Depends, we all love that song, it's cute, I don't think it deserves a Grammy over songs like Folded, but it could happen. I hope it doesn't, because it's also peaking at the right time as well. But in my opinion, this should go, and it will go to Kehlani's Folded. Next up, we got Best Progressive R&B Album, who I think will win this category, and that's Duran Bernard with this album Bloom. But who I think should win, and that's Flow with their album Access All Areas. I'll be happy either way this goes. I do think Duran will win this category. I feel like it's his time. Especially because I think he'll lose in the other categories he's nominated for. I feel like this is where he'll prevail this year, and it will be deserved. Bloom is a beautiful album, such an amazingly well-made project, so I think it will win, and it deserves it. But if I had it my way, I would personally give it to Flow's Access All Areas. That's an album that I really love. I don't see Flow winning a Grammy for their first album, but I would love that would be my personal pick. And my spoiler for this category is definitely Come As You Are by Kenyon Dixon and Terrace Martin. They're both Grammy darlings. It's a great album. I don't think it'll win, but if there were to be a surprise upset, I definitely see this album being the one that can prevail in the end. But I do think this will be a battle between Duran Bernard and Flo. I do think Duran will take it, but if I had it my way, I would give it to Flo. But let's see who wins. Next category is Best R&B Album. I think this will be a very easy category as well. To me, this is the battle between the R&B guys on their sophomore albums. So this is the battle between Mutt and Beloved. I think who will win is Mutt by Leon Thomas, but who I think should win, if I had it my way, I would give it to Giveon for his album Beloved. While I do love both of these albums a lot, they were two of the defining R&B albums of this period. I do think Leon Thomas makes sense as the winner. He's having a moment right now with Mutt, the song and the album. It is also the only album in this category that's nominated for Album of the Year. So I think Leon Thomas will walk away with this easily, and that's fine. I love his album. It's a beautiful album. He definitely deserves it. But if I had it my way, I would personally pick Giveon's Beloved. I think Beloved is just a little bit better of an album in terms of how it's produced, constructed, arranged, all that. I just think it's a really sublime modern R&B album that has this retro throwback flair that's done so well. It doesn't feel dated. I just think it's a really beautiful gem of an album in this culture right now. So shout out to Giveon for his sophomore album, Beloved. That would be my winner. And that's my spoiler as well. I do think Leon Thomas will walk away with this easily. But if you were to lose anybody, I see him losing to Giveon for his album Beloved. All right, y'all, now we're on to the rap categories. And first up, we have Best Rap Performance. So I do think this will be an interesting category where Kendrick is battling himself either way. But who I think will win, that's Clips featuring Kendrick Lamar with Chains and Whips. But who I think should win, and that's Kendrick Lamar and Lefty Gunplay with TV Off. So I think Chains and Whips makes sense as the winner. This will ensure that Clips can get a guaranteed win somewhere, especially if they lose every other rap category, which hopefully won't happen. But if it does happen, hopefully they at least win here, so they can take home at least one Grammy. And either way, if Chains and Whips takes the win, Kendrick gets another win as well. So I feel like it's kind of a win-win situation for Clips and Kendrick if both of them were to win for Chains and Whips. And it's one of the best songs of the decade so far. One of the rap songs that really defined this period. Even though it wasn't like a #1 record, it's one of the best records that we've had in a long time. So definitely would deserve the win. But if I had it my way, I would give the edge to TV Off. TV Off to me just feels like a monster record. The way Kendrick came in on that record, the way, the production by Mustard, it's really just a song, to me, one of the rap songs that has defined this generation. It's a song that we all know and love. It's a banger. So I'll personally give it the win. And that's also my spoiler as well. I really do think Chains Whips is a lock for this category, and it should be. But if Chains Whips were to lose, I can see them losing to TV Off. But I also don't think the Grammys will be in a rush to give TV Off a Grammy because of Lefty Gunplay. Yeah, because Lefty Gunplay is like a newer kid on the block. He's not really gone through his chops yet. I don't think the Grammys will be thirsty to give him a Grammy, off rip. But it could happen. So let's see what happens. But I think this will be Chains Whips to lose. Next up is Best Melodic Rap Performance. This is easy peasy. Who will win this category? And that's Kendrick Lamar and SZA with Luther. But if I had it my way, I would give this Grammy actually to Friday and Meek Mill for Proud of Me. I do think this will easily go to Kendrick and SZA for Luther, one of the biggest songs of the year. This is theirs. It's a lock. It's been done for months now. This Grammy has her name on it, and that's fine. It's a great record. They deserve the win. But if I had it my way, I would give it to Friday and Meek Mill for Proud of Me. It's a song that I just love a little more. To me, that song just has a little more heart and a little more grit to it. It's a really great performance by Friday and by Meek Mill. Great verse by Meek. Friday doing his thing on the record. It's a really great record that I think would deserve the win in this whole category. But obviously, it's not going to win, which is fine. But if there were to be a spoiler for this category, I actually see the spoiler being We Mage by Terrace Martin, Kenyon Dixon, and Rhapsody, one of the best tracks off of their album, Come As You Are. Rhapsody just won this category last year. I think Terrace Martin and Kenyon Dixon have a great shot to win for Best Progressive R&B Album. So especially if they lose in that category, I can see them kind of taking a win here as a surprise pick, but I doubt it. I don't see anybody winning over Luther, but if there were to be a surprise pick, I can see it being We Mage, but let's see what happens. Next up, we have Best Rap Song. This is an interesting one, especially because Doechie's Anxiety is nominated in both Record and Song of the Year. So she's who I think will win, and it's because of that reason especially. I do think with Doechii being nominated 5 times for Anxiety, I feel like she has to win somewhere, and I don't see her winning Record and Song of the Year. I don't see her winning Music Video. I don't think she'll win Rap Performance. So I feel like this is the category that makes the most sense for her to prevail. It's a really beautifully written song with a great message, great lyrics, great arrangement. So I feel like this is the place where Doechii will prevail, and it will be deserved. But if I had it my way, who I think should win this category, and that's definitely the Clips with The Birds Don't Sing. Clips did their thing on this intro track, one of the best intro tracks on a rap album I've heard in a long time. It's just such a beautiful song about the death of their parents. So well written, just well structured. The way they told that story in that song is beautiful. It's just a great performance, great songwriting. So to me, it would definitely deserve the win for this category. And that's who my spoiler is as well. I definitely think this will go to Doechii, and I'll be happy with that. But who I think should win, and who I think would spoil that win for Doechii is definitely Clips with The Birds Don't Sing. I think there's a chance that Clips could take it out, and I would love that. But I do think this is going to Doechii. But I'm excited to see who takes it out in the end. Let's see what happens. Next up is Best Rap Album, and this is one that I was really battling over for a long time, and it drove me crazy, but this is where I'm landing. Who I think will and should win is Clips with Let God Sort 'Em Out. And my spoiler for this category is GNX by Kendrick Lamar. So it's crazy to think that I'm predicting this because, after Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick has never ever lost this category when he was nominated. And in recent memory, every time Pusha T was nominated for a Grammy, he lost to Kendrick. With his last album and now this cycle, we'll have to see what happens. But I do think, with Let God Sort 'Em Out kind of being more in people's minds more recently than GNX. GNX was kind of the album that really defines this period, but I do think In terms of, rap albums, I think there's a lot more love and respect for the Clips project more so than GNX. I think the GNX project is seen more as like a populist, more pop project. Whereas if we're just talking like just straight rap, bars, like hip hop energy, the Clips exceeds GNX in that regard by I think a lot of people. So that's why I think a lot of voters will lean towards giving Clips the win in this category, hoping that Kendrick will take the win in Album of the Year, which would be deserved as well. It would make a lot of sense. And we don't often see a split between Album of the Year and the genre category, but I do think this is one of those rare years where the Album of the Year winner, if it's Kendrick, could lose out in its genre category to another album that's not way more deserving, but kind of just speaks to the power of that genre more. Like kind of when Taylor Swift lost Folklore, she lost Best Pop Vocal Album to Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia. Because Future Nostalgia was a really beloved pop album of that year. It kind of spoke to the pop moment that happens that year more so than Taylor's album, but Taylor's album won Album of the Year, which makes sense. So I think that could happen this year where Kendrick will win Album of the Year, whereas I can see Clips taking Best Rap Album, which will be a weird split, but I could see it being a split that makes a lot of sense. So I'm predicting that. I could be wrong, and obviously this could obviously go to GNX, which will be fine, and it will be deserved. I'll be happy for Kendrick, but I do think who will win and should win is the Clips this time. So I think I'm right about it. Let's see what happens. But yeah, this is the one I'm biting my nose to see who wins this category. Next up, we have Best African Music Performance. This is a category that I'm really excited about as well, because I'm wondering if we'll see Tyler win her second Grammy or if we'll see someone else prevail in this newer category. But who I think will and should win this category, obviously, is Tyler with Push to Start. This is my favorite song in the category. It's a bop, and not only that, but it's pretty much the most successful and well-known song in this category. So I do think that's why it will win. But I also think that's my predicted winner as well. I do think it's a song that I would choose as well. Push to Start is a great record. I do think a lot of people might have trepidation on considering that this will be Tyler's second Grammy win, when I think a lot of people don't think she's really proven herself yet as a force in the music world. Even though I think that she's proven enough that she's more than capable of being here to stay for the long haul. I think a lot of people have trepidation with thinking that this will be Tyler's second Grammy win in like only a few years. So I do think that kind of hurts her in terms of this being her second Grammy win. But I do think she will still win regardless because she has the biggest song in this category. She has, in my opinion, the best and my favorite songs. So I do think she will win, and I do think she should win this category. It's a great record. Push to Start is a bop. But if there were to be a spoiler, I see it being Davido and Omale with You. Great record. I do think it's the song that kind of can take it if it's not Push to Start. I was predicting Burna Boy for a while to be the spoiler, but Burna Boy, he's been in drama lately, so I don't think he'll muster up enough votes. And I do think I don't really see anybody else winning here, so I do think this will be a battle between Tyler and Davido and Omale. I have Tyler winning it, and I think she should win it, but I can definitely see Davido kind of coming up behind and taking it in the end. So. Next up, we have Best Music Video. So this is a category that I'm also interested to see, how it plays out in the end. Who I think will win this category, and that's Sabrina Carpenter with Manchild. But who I think should win this category, and that's OK Go with Love. I never saw OK Go's video before the nominations came out, but I watched it, and I love that video. It's a great video. So much technical intricacy went into making that video. I really think it's a masterpiece, and shout out to the whole crew for like putting that together and the way they did it. It was like a one take of just so many things happening. It was a really beautiful video, so I think it will deserve the win in my opinion. But I do think Sabrina Carpenter will take this out, especially since I predicted her to not win in the general fields or in the pop categories. I do think this is the best place to kind of give her a win for the era. Manchild is a great video. It's there were so many different shots, so many different setups. It's so many things happening, and it really would deserve the win. And I do think it's the most popular and well-known video and song in this category, so I do think it'll win. Even though I'd prefer to give it to OK Go. And my spoiler for this category is definitely Doechii with Anxiety. I do think. I don't think she'll beat Sabrina Carpenter, but if there were to be someone that would beat Sabrina, I could see it being Doechii for her brilliant video as well. Doechii's Anxiety won, I think, Best Choreography at the VMAs. It was nominated for Best Hip Hop as well. And it's just a really great video with a great message, a lot going on as well. Really well intentioned and well thought out video that has a really powerful message. So I can see it kind of being a spoiler as well. But I do think this will be Manchild's to lose. Next up, we got Best Compilation Soundtrack for Visual Media. Of course, I've not listened to all these soundtracks in full, but I still want to predict it because this is such a big year for this category. This category is stacked this year. Who I think will win, and that is the Wicked soundtrack. But who I think should win, that's the Sinner soundtrack. Wicked to me makes the most sense as the winner. Obviously Wicked's been taking over the worlds, last year and this year with, Wicked and Wicked for Good. And I do think that soundtrack, the original soundtrack, is so beloved that I think that love will translate into the modern soundtrack. But if I had it my way, I would give it to Sinners. I think, Sinners has so many great songs in that movie. It's a really homegrown, just really well made set of original songs. So I do think it would deserve the win. But obviously my spoiler for this category is definitely K-pop Demon Hunters, which on paper would take the win because it's pretty much the soundtrack that has the most amount of songs that actually did well around the world this year. Like, not just like, they were loved, but they actually were hits. That album was full of hits. Golden, What It Feels Like, Soda Pop, so on, so on and so forth. This album had the most amount of hits on it, so I could definitely see it being a spoiler. But I do think, I do think Wicked or Sinners kind of will end up being the winner, one of those. But I do think K-pop can be a spoiler. So either way, this is a 3-horse race between 3 powerful and amazing soundtracks that did well. So any way it'll go, it'll be fine. But this will be interesting. So let's see who wins it. Next up is Best Song Written for Visual Media. So to me, this is also very easy to think about who I think will win. That's definitely Golden by Huntrix from K-pop Demon Hunters. That's easy. But who I think actually should win, and that's Pale Pale Moon from the Sinner soundtrack by Brittany Howard and Jamie, I think it's Jamie Lawson, I think. But I really love Pale Pale Moon, even though a lot of people love, I Lied to You, which is my spoiler for this category, performed by Miles Caton, written by, Ludwig Göransson and Raphael Sadiq. A beautiful, amazing record. I would love it if it spoils. I would love that. But if I had to win, I actually have a preference. I would give the edge towards Pale Pale Moon from the Sinner soundtrack. I love that song. That's a song that Perlene. That's the song that Perlene was singing. I love that song. It's just a great performance, a great record. I really love that record. It's so I would give the edge over I Lied to You, but I Lied to You is great. So I Lied to You to me is obviously a spoiler, but I would give Pale Pale Moon the win if I had it my way. But obviously to me the winner will be Golden. It's the song of the year in terms of soundtrack songs. It's having a moment. I think it's gonna win Song of the Year and Best Pop Duo. So definitely to me will be a lock for this category, and that's fine. It will deserve it. It's fine. So that's how it'll go. Next up, we have Best Album Cover. So to me, who I think will win and should win this category is Tyler, the Creator, with Chromacopia. I'm not sure if I'm right about this, but I really do feel like not only that he should win it, but I also think Tyler will win it for his album cover for Chromacopia, which is one of the most interesting album covers that we've seen in recent memory. I think it's burned in all of our brains. There's no other album cover like it. Not only in the category, but I think just in the landscape of music, it's been one of the most unique covers we've seen in a long time, with Tyler having that mask on and the sepia tone and the pose. It's just such an interesting, striking image that I think it will win. But obviously, if there's a spoiler for this category, even though it's a very simple cover, because of the powerful message it kind of shows and represents, I do think Bad Bunny's Debí Tirar Más Fotos can be the spoiler for this category. And I'll be cool with that. I'll be happy for Bad Bunny. It will be deserved. But I do think this will and should go to Tyler. But I definitely think Bad Bunny has a shot to take it on the end. So let's see how it plays out. And lastly, I just want to go through some more categories I'm not going to talk about in depth, but I just want to mention the winners that I think will take it out in the end, because I think the winners are very obvious. So let's go through them. First up is Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album. I think this will definitely be going to Elton John and Brandi Carlile for their album, Who Believes in Angels. Best Alternative Music Album, I think this will definitely be going to Hayley Williams for her album Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. I think she's walking away with that easily, and I love that for her. So I can't wait to see that. Best Jazz Vocal Album, I think that's definitely going to Samara Joy for her album Portrait. I could be wrong, but I feel like she definitely is the front runner for that category, and I think she'll take it because she's Samara Joy, and Portrait is a beautiful album, so why not? Best Latin Pop Album, I do predict this going to Karol G for her album Tropico Queta. I definitely am not surprised that she's the frontrunner for this category. She's the biggest name in the field. She's the biggest artist, and she has the biggest album. So I definitely think that'll go to her. For Best Música Urbana Album, this is definitely going to Bad Bunny's Debí Tirar Más Fotos. That album is a lock. It's contending for the win in Album of the Year. So I definitely think it'll be a lock for its genre category. It's definitely winning it. That's definitely a lock. I'll be shocked if Bad Bunny were to lose that. For Best Reggae Album, I do think this is going to Vybz Kartel for his album. He's never won a Grammy before, and he's having a moment post release from prison. So I definitely think he'll win it. It's loved it's a loved reggae album out of all the albums in the category. So I do think he's the biggest name, and he has the most beloved project in the category. There is a chance that Lila Ike could sneak it out, but she's a newer name on the scene, so I think they'll hold off for her for now and give it to Vybz Kartel. But let's see what happens in Best Reggae Album. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media. Ludwig Göransson, I think this is gonna be yours to take again. I think this will be like his second or third, fourth win. I think this will be his third win in the category. I think he won it for Black Panther and Oppenheimer. So this will be his third album win in that category, which is amazing, but he deserved it. What he did on the center soundtrack on that score was amazing. So shout out to Ludwig Göransson. He's gonna win his third, hopefully, and deserved win for score soundtrack for Visual Media. So I think we'll definitely see that happen as well. All right, y'all. So those are all of my final predictions for the 2026 Grammys for all the categories that I care about, along with some other categories. I'm excited to see how everything plays out come February 1st. Comment down below what you thought about my predictions. Let me know what you think I got right. Let me know what you think I got wrong. Let me know if you think I'm tripping with some things. Let me know if you think I'm on the ball with some things. Comment down below what are your predictions, who are you rooting for, and for all the categories you care about, who do you think will win, who do you think could be a surprise win in all these categories. Let me know what you think down below. And please keep it respectful. It's not that deep, y'all. It's just an award show. We'll all be fine. We're all grown. So yeah, definitely keep it respectful in the comments. But let me know what y'all think. I'm really excited to see how we all did come February. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And go join my Patreon, okay? Appreciate y'all. But all right, y'all. Until next time, thank you for watching. But this has been your boy Bright, the R&B Kid. But for now, I'm signing off, baby. Bye, y'all. Peace.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. Relax just a little bit. You don't gotta worry, you can just